welcome back to the layout. We are currently in the month of May, and this is my 2025 in-depth layout tour. We're going to go over everything on the layout as it sits right now. So let's head on down to the furthest section here and start from the beginning. So if we head down this way, we can see here, this is the lumberyard shed. When center beams come in, all the lumber will be staged in here, as well as loose lumber. The lumberyard continues on with a dedicated boxcar deck, or dock, I should say. Both this and this are scratch built, including the fencing that you see all the way around it is all scratch built. The pallets here, I believe these are by Faller. I think that's the name of the company. I could be wrong. But what I did to detail the lumberyard is kind of just put some papers down there, some pallets, some broken wood, things you might see in a lumberyard. Excuse the handle for the dock. I gotta put that back up. I brushed into that. Behind the lumberyard here, we have Pratt Industries. And Pratt Industries is the name of a real corporation. They manufacture corrugated boxes. So they take in boxcars of paper rolls. Well, let's start off with this. This is where it begins. Paper rolls come in. They're processed. Then the boxes are loaded onto other boxcars and shipped out. As you can see, let's zoom in a little bit. As you can see, I have a roof over the dock here. And I wanted to go for somewhat realism here, so I have safety concrete barriers. I know there's a certain name for them, and I just can't remember what it is. So we're going to call them concrete barriers right now. At each of the pillars for the roof, we have them for the doors. And you can see for the pillar again. I also have dock plates that I scratch built. And we can see the same thing here at the lumberyard. These are dock plates. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a picture of the prototype that inspired this build. So moving on, we can see that Pratt Industries is quite a large industry on the layout here, taking up most of section 1, serving both rail and truck. So on the other side of this wall, you'd have to imagine on the other side of the building there's truck bays to be shipped out to local industries. Let me zoom out just a little bit. There we go. So next to the lumberyard here, we have is just a generic parking lot. And for the longest time, I didn't know what to do with this section. So I finally came up with the idea that, when I go on trips and stuff, I usually see lots with semi trucks, parked. Maybe they ran out of hours for the day and they're just resting until they can drive again. That's kind of what this lot is used for. It's for semi trucks to get off the road, sleep before they're allowed back onto the road again. And I also have these utility poles with the street lights on them. These are also scratch built. The pole itself is scratch built, but the light feature is an altered piece of lighting that came with a kit. I shouldn't say kit, a bundle. I bought a bundle of these off of Amazon from Eve Model. And what they were generic streetlights. You get about 12 in a pack. I cut them and then bent the, oops, let that focus again. I bent it and made it look like a regular streetlight on a utility pole. We also have the building in the back, WJ Salvage. It's unfinished at this time. And what this building does is it's a large projects will come in and be disassembled, cut up, and brought out to the yard for sorting, and then shipped off by rail as scrap. Now, I'm sure that there's industries that do this for real, but this was kind of a made-up industry. And, I made up the backstory that large projects, even decommissioned locomotives, will come in. They'll be cut down and sorted for scrap. As we can see, that GP9 waiting for its fate. Then we have a little bit of graffiti. This building here, this is unfinished at this time. I want to head back down this way, and I want to show you the down shot. So there's the down shot, as well as some more papers and junk, graffiti, tree growing, some pallets thrown around, as well as we can see here a fire escape. I should also mention this building is all scratch built, as well as that sign. The roof feature there is actually off an O-scale Woodland Scenics kit. It's not going to stay there. I kind of just threw it up there and it looked good. But that'll be taken off. Alright, so let's head back down this way. And this is section 1. Or this is what I call it, section 1. I also want to note, I have 2 types of switch stands here. This one is actually operational, and this is by Rick's Products. Let me give a quick demonstration. Watch the red. You can see that it actually moves, giving you a visual indication that the switch is set for the storage track. And then behind there, we have some more modern switch stands. Those are also scratch built. The base being plastic and the hand being metal. Alright, so right here we have a dead end scene, and where I also put my power cab. What we're looking at here is mini prints, concrete barrier blocks. I have yet to paint, but I kind of given this backstory that, you know, maybe this road ran all the way across, but for some reason was no longer needed, and they decided to block it off, and none of the fixtures were ever taken down. Alright, so let's keep on moving. We have some junk that's blown up into those bushes there, as well as some tires that have kind of just been left behind. And in front here, moving down into section 2, we have the propane terminal. These storage tanks, these are from Walters. Moving down, we have a yard office, or a terminal office. This is scratch built. All of this, besides the AC unit and the roof fan, are all evergreen styrene plastic. These are 3D printed from eBay. This 8-yard or 6-yard dumpster, this is scratch built. The fence that surrounds the terminal is also scratch built. Now we're moving to the loading platform. This is where trucks will come up and load up with propane. This is scratch built, and what I'm going to do is insert the prototype photo that inspired this build. It's kind of a one-to-one recreation, as best as I could do at the time, because I built this probably over a year ago. Even down to the emergency stop button and all the conduit that runs up to the lights. The instrument panel here, this is actually a decal sheet for a 1/72nd scale. It's either a 1/72nd or 1/48 scale airplane. Moving down. Now, just like the lumberyard, these gates are functional. Sometimes they're a little temperamental, but they are functional. These unloading platforms, these are from Walters. And I still need to put up a fence here separating the two areas here. So that is on my to-do list. Let's back up. Now we see Pacific Plumbing Supply. This is a real company. We also see some deer feeding in the small forest scene here. Let's quickly go over some of these trees. These trees right here, these are purchased. I got these at Hobby Lobby. These 4 trees here, these are scratch built. These again, these are purchased. The low-lying foliage that you see for our wood scene here, this was done with 12mm static grass, airbrush brown, and then using knock leaves sprinkled on with Mod Podge. Gave us the low-lying brush foliage effect. And I went with that look because it's what I see every day at my job. And my job is located in the Pine Barrens in New Jersey. Another look at the scrapyard here. Now, kind of a little backstory as to how I came up with this idea for the sorting area. My first truck was a 95 Dodge Ram long bed. So when I was younger, one of my favorite things to do was scrapping. You know, somebody throw a washer or dry, you go pick it up and take it to the scrapyard, make a couple dollars. So I've seen the inside of scrapyards. They don't always all look like this, but most of the time they'll have a concrete floor and concrete blocks going around. So I tried to recreate that that look. Oh, one more thing. We have a photo backdrop here to kind of make the scene look larger. And this is actually a photo of the Ocean County dump in Stafford, New Jersey, where I take the leaves from my job. They were kind enough to let me take some photos. All right, so moving down, we have Frontier Logistics. Frontier Logistics is also a real company. I believe they're based all over, but when I was originally looking for building ideas, I came across Frontier Logistics, I believe in Fort Worth, Texas. There's a huge facility there that's rail served, and what it is multiple bays taking an assortment of different products, I believe. So we kind of recreated that a little bit here. I have yet to name each bay, but these 2 right here, these are cold storage or cold transfer, as food products will come in, loaded up on the trucks, and then brought to local grocery stores or etc. The 2 back here, I've kind of just come up with the idea that it's miscellaneous goods. So, you know, a variety of different things can be used for it. And the same again with the front one here is to be determined. But as you can see, we can still see the brown foam. It was green and I painted it brown, so we give the base coat of dirt. So there's still work to be done on section 2 here. And what we're looking at here is the main line. And then the main line branches off into the yard lead. And if you keep going this way, this is the team track where a multi-use of different things can be brought in, transferred, and done by rail. Let's back up. Back here is the yard lead. It parallels the main line, and it comes all the way down. I'm not sure what to do with this yet. I might replace this and do something else with it, but that's to be determined. As you can see, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in this area. We have the yard lead that breaks off, makes a runaround with the main line, and then we have our yard track here. This will be replaced for another curved switch to give us 2 yard tracks, and then this heads down and breaks off once again to maybe another industry, and yet to be determined. But I mainly use this area for staging. Here's one of my new Rio Grande SW1000 switchers I recently made a video on. That's pretty much it for the layout. So now let's head to the top. Pardon me. Alright, so what we're looking at here is all my rail storage. Just a wide variety of different rail cars. And then moving down, you can see it switches. Everything is going to be switched over to this kind of construction. These are 8-foot sections. As you can see, these are only 4 foot. And then with a divider in the middle, these are going to be rebuilt to 8-foot sections. And as we can see, there's lighting to help. And I'll see if I can get a good view. There's lighting in there. And this is all my locomotive storage. As you can see, a good range or a good variety of different locomotive types. I mainly stick with Union Pacific, as this is the Union Pacific Cascade Industrial Park. Now, to talk about that briefly, this isn't modeled after the real Cascade. This is a freelance location, so this is a made-up city of Cascade set somewhere in Western United States, and it's under the jurisdiction of Union Pacific. So that is where we get Union Pacific Cascade Industrial Park. Now, another backstory to that. When I first started getting into model railroading, I had asked one of the communities, I said, I need help naming my layout. And one of the answers was Cascade Industrial Park. So I liked the name and I just kind of stuck with it. So this right here, this is the official logo. Unfortunately, it's been painted over a little bit, but it mimics the colors that you would see on the Union Pacific locomotives. The gray with a red stripe and then red lettering. But that's going to be it for this layout tour. Hope you enjoyed. I want to thank you if you stuck around till the end. And I think that's pretty much it. Have a good night, and I'll see you in the next video.